So far in the 2013 World Rally Championship, we've tackled the icy roads of Monte Carlo and sub-zero snow-covered forests of Sweden. Now, though, everything's about to change. The heat is on as we head across the Atlantic to North America. I'm Kevin Piper. Welcome to the hot, dusty, rocky roads of Rally Mexico. It's round 3 of 13 events on the WRC calendar, venturing outside Europe for the first time this season. This global adventure taking on some of the toughest terrain in the world. Last time out in Sweden, Sebastian Ogier maintained his impressive start to the season, clinching a maiden WRC victory for Volkswagen's new Polo R. The rough, tough gravel mountain roads of Mexico present an altogether different challenge, though.
During the test, the fiability was quite good, so we crossed our finger. But yeah, we never know. Sometime in race you discover new problems, so we just hope that it will not be the case for us. But the team and the car is still very new, so it can happen.
One challenge Ogier won't have to deal with here, world champion Sebastian Loeb. The Frenchman starting his retirement after a record 77 WRC wins and 9 world titles. Also a 6-time winner here in Mexico, where we're guaranteed a new name at the top of the podium this year. But who will it be? Sebastian Ogier is the early favourite, a second place in Monte Carlo, and that victory in Sweden sees him leading the championship. But others will be hustling the Frenchman here in Mexico's Guanajuato province. Mikko Hirvonen really needs to kickstart his season, disappointing so far and desperate for his first world title. Fellow Finn Jari-Matti Latvala is a real speed merchant and in with a chance if he can reach the finish. And Norwegian Mads Osberg, he's an outside bet perhaps, but don't rule him out. But it's Citroen's new number 1 who needs victory most here after failing to finish in Sweden.
The car is really fast and competitive, and I feel ready for it as well, so I feel good. So we just have to wait and see how fast the new team is going to go. And of course we are now quite far behind of Ogier already, so we would need to win rallies and really turn it around, so that's what we try to do.
Confirmation then, Sebastian Ogier leads the championship after the opening 2 rounds with a great chance to extend his lead in Loeb's absence. Mikko Hirvonen is back down in 6th, fully 34 points behind Ogier. It's 25 points for a win, another 3 up for grabs in the power stage on Sunday, leading the way in the Manufacturers' Championship, Citroen, just 2 ahead of Volkswagen. The first task for the drivers and co-drivers is qualifying. Important in determining road position come the rally proper. The fastest driver is able to choose his preferred starting position, and it won't necessarily be first on the road here in Mexico. That's because loose dust and gravel will be swept clear by the early runners to leave a cleaner racing line and more grip for following drivers. Mikko Hirvonen immediately on the pace through the narrow, dusty Mexican tracks. A really determined run from the Finn. And indeed, he would be quickest through the qualifying stage. And sure enough, deciding to start back in 13th place, the last of the elite WRC runners.
It's so dry here that normally the more cars are passing through the stage, the more cleaner line you're going to have and better traction, so that's my choice.
And here's how they'll line up. Poland's Michał Kosisko first on the road ahead of Martin Prokop and local driver Benito Guerra. Then the big guns with confirmation. Hirvonen is hoping for lucky number 13. That start order not coming into play on Thursday evening, though, as tens of thousands turned out to greet the teams at the opening ceremony in the heart of Guanajuato City. There really is nothing quite like Mexico when WRC comes to town. Rally fans lining the streets to join in the celebrations. A real party atmosphere. And once over the start ramp, it was time to turn on the style with a short blast through the streets and tunnels of Guanajuato. This UNESCO World Heritage Site offering a stunning backdrop for the Rally Mexico curtain raiser. All kicking off with 2 short special stages by the teams, turning on the style for the fans. Through Guanajuato's famous tunnels. Back out into the streets. And after all the celebrations, it was championship leader Ogier with a slight lead ahead of Mads Osberg and Thierry Neuville. That, though, was just a taster ahead of the main event. Rally Mexico, based to the north of the capital, Mexico City, with the service park in León. 23 stages in all, Friday featuring 4 showpiece mountain stages, each run twice to make up the majority of today's 160 competitive kilometers. Among them, in the country that invented the treat, El Chocolate, peaking at almost 2,700 meters, the highest of this rally with altitude. To the mountains we head then for the first big test, El Cubilete, where it's time to say hello to commentator John Desborough.
Thank you, Kevin. Deep breath, everybody. The opening stage of the day, and you don't envy this guy, Kosciuszko. First into the stage, almost 22 kilometers of dust and rock to sweep in front of him. But that's what you get when you're the slowest in qualifying, and all the major contenders, you know, are going to keep an eye on how he gets on today, this morning, in his Mini. See that dust? This is Chris Atkinson, thrilled to be back with this opportunity to show the teams that he is still fast. He told me, realistically, this is going to be very difficult. And he knows, like everybody else, that danger lurks. On the inside of the corner, did you hear that? Rocks the size of footballs, and if a driver takes the racing line, they eat tyres. Let's watch again. Did you see it on the inside as he took the line? Atkinson already has repairs to carry out. This is Jari Mäki-Latvala launching himself into the stage, 5th in the championship and hungry, because he's already 6.4 seconds down on his teammate and rally leader Ogier. He's another VW driver who's been told by his boss Jos Capito he doesn't have to feel the pressure, he can enjoy himself here. But he's feeling the pressure from his own teammate. But what was that? Latvala on the racing line on the right-hand corner hits that rock on all in the first kilometre. How did that happen? Sébastien Ogier, championship leader, rally leader, aware now of how big an opportunity this could be. And here we see him on the cobbled section of the first 12 kilometres of this stage on a steep incline. And this is just another challenge that this extraordinary rally is going to throw at the crews this weekend. Now to Evgeny Novikov, the Russian, the penultimate driver to launch into this stage's Ford Fiesta. But what's his plan? He's got a reputation for giving it all or nothing. But how's he going to react to what's happened to Latvala? Latvala's parked at the side of the stage after just a handful of corners. Now what's this? This is Novikov in trouble, losing speed. Now, to have problems this early on is heartbreaking, especially when you've only got a couple of championship points to your name so far this year. He's going to have to cure that and get going again. He loses 8 minutes to what turned out to be an electrical problem. He drops to 22nd place. Finally to Mika Hirvonen, the last to go, a non-finisher in the last event, wondering what the rest of the drivers have done to the road ahead of him. He said before he had to be flawless here. That means rock dodging. Let's compare his time against that recorded by Ogier. His is the benchmark. There's the finish. How's Hirvonen done? 10.4 seconds slower than the Frenchman. He stays in 4th place. He's now 11.5 seconds behind the rally leader. Meanwhile, back at the beginning, Jari Mäki-Latvala, the broken wishbone, and the chance of winning has gone.
I think it was the 3rd corner from the 3rd stage. Also dust and turning on the normally right-hand corner, I took it even a bit easy, braking a bit more than I usually turn in. And when I turn in the dust, I saw
rock like this, really big rock on the middle of the road, and unfortunately that rock snapped the TCA.
So hard lines on Jari-Matti, ominous signs for the rest of the field. Sebastian Ogier continuing where he left off in Sweden, opening up a 5-second lead over Mads Osberg. Thierry Neuville in third. A big gap to the rest. Ken Block, Benito Guerra and Martin Prokop benefiting from Latvala's off. So Rally Mexico claiming its first big casualty. Jari-Matti Latvala out. The rest have been warned, and there's lots more drama still to come on Guanajuato's rocky roads. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back to Mexico, where the rugged roads have claimed an early victim. Jari-Matti Latvala's rally wrecked by this stray rock on the opening gravel stage. The Finn not the only one in trouble, as we're about to hear from John Desborough.
Now we reach the part of Mexico called Las Minas. If only they knew how much their backyard had battered the world's best rally drivers. Ouch. Time to see who's dealing with this dust and who's got the best grip on this event so far. We can do that on this section of 3 kilometres of stage 4. There's a slow approach, a jump, maybe a bit of big air and a fast exit. This is Sebastian Ogier. He's our early leader, but by no means safe. So here he's going to be keen to try and put a little bit more daylight between him and the rest of the field. He needs to trust to the co-driver, you can hear, through these changing conditions, who can't see much of the road, but he's describing it to him bit by bit as they work through the pace notes. Ogier has enough speed to get airborne. He'll avoid the rocks up there, but that might not be ideal all weekend. He clocks 11 minutes 25.1 seconds. That's the third fastest stage time. Does it affect the lead? We'll have to wait and see. Let's examine Mads Osberg, third in the championship. With the rally leader Ogier and his VW in his sights. Talked of his car oversteering on the previous stage. He'll be aware of Latvala's demise. What does he do here? The road's been narrowing. Does he stick or does he twist? He's twisting, urging his car on. The one thing he cannot do is let Ogier have things all his way so soon. And look at this, here's the proof that he's giving it everything he can in his Fiesta. He finishes the stage 6.7 seconds quicker than Ogier, and that means we have a new leader, but it's one with a problem.
Mads ended the stage number 4, the second one of the day. How's it going?
It's quite okay. It's very slippery, and we have a hole in the floor somewhere, so it's a lot of dust in the car, so I'm struggling a little bit with the sight, but it's not so bad.
Let's put the two side by side here, and you can see the tiny advantage that Osberg on the left of your screen gets over Ogier on just this short section through the village. Remember, they're against the clock, so 1/1000th of a second can make all the difference. This is Thierry Neuville, full of confidence. He's now in third place, 7.7 seconds off the lead. Now he knows the early leaders have stolen a march on him so far. But if he gets through this section really well, if he looks after his car here, then he can get back at them. He shows a little bit of ambition over that jump. He finishes this stage 13.5 seconds down on the fastest man through, who has been Osberg so far. But look at this, you've got to give him credit for trying his hardest. But what's the latest in this man's saga? The unhappy Russian Yevgeny Novikov. More frustration in 20 seconds. 8 minutes off the lead, and now he's having a full conversation with his co-driver after recovering from a rude awakening on stage 3. And now, as it's reporting back to the service park, his engine management unit is playing up again, as it did earlier, as if Mexico wasn't tough enough. So to Mika Hervinen lost a lot of time, he said, because he'd been driving into the dust thrown up by Novikov on stage 3. Well, that comes with the territory in Mexico, despite the drivers starting at 3-minute intervals. And because of that, Hirvonen has even more time to make up now. And remember, these cars are wheezing in this thin air up here. So Hirvonen has less power to play with. His right foot's going to be flat to the floor. The temptation to cut corners is now going to be a big one. But running last on the stage is a risk. If you gamble, and there's Novikov, and there's his dust. No wonder this man, Hirvonen, can be in such a somber state of mind at the beginning of a rally. But he grabs back 2.6 seconds here and goes ahead of Neuville into third place on the leaderboard.
We catched him and we needed to slow down a few times because of the dust. So we were calling him to pull over and he did that, but we lost a few seconds for that.
So to our first view of showman Ken Block. He started this stage in 8th, 36.9 seconds off the lead. He tiptoed up El Cubilete. Well, he ain't tiptoeing anymore. Remember, this is the first time you've seen a WRC rally car since August of last year, and it shows. But he takes 25 seconds off Mexico's Benito Guerra, which leaves him in 7th place. So the 1 to 5 looks like this. Osberg, the new leader. Ogier just in 2nd place. Then Hirvonen up to 3rd. Neuville pushed down to 4th. And Spain's Dani Sordo in 5th, wanting to break into that pack. And after 6 stages, we have a standoff. And that standoff is between Norway's Mats Osberg, fresh from winning stages 4 and 5, and who is the new rally leader. His confidence will be high at this point. But here, the new 30-kilometer stage, El Chocolate, bites back. He drops 13 seconds, and he drops them, crucially, to this man, the championship leader, Ogier, back on it, determined to see off his early rival. And it's some comeback by the Frenchman, who retains the lead with a gap now of 11.8 seconds. But this is car 65, one of the Venezuelan drivers, Carlos Fesman. He's been running towards the back of the field. He's not had an enjoyable day. That is what Mexico can do to a driver. Well, that was after stage 6. This is our leaderboard after 7 stages. The leader, Ogier, takes a little bit more out of Osberg in 2nd place. Behind them, it's as you were, but Hirvonen and Neuville have dropped more time to the rally leader, Sebastian Ogier.
Well, back at service, Chris Atkinson and his team have another race on their hands. The Citroën mechanics preparing to repair that damaged steering from stage 3. The kind of job your local garage might need a day to do. Here they have just 30 minutes.
Basically what happened is your steering arm here, and it connects into the rack here, and you can see this is actually bent open, and that's where the bolt was broken. So I actually tried to bend this back together, levered my way in, and then reconnected it. We had a spare one of these in the car, the other one was bent. Reconnected that, but you imagine it's quite difficult. It's in under the sump guard, and it took some time, but fortunately we were able to just get enough bolt through here and tie a nut on and screw it up. So quite lucky, but still the power steering was already damaged.
An impressive half hour's work by the mechanics. Atkinson gratefully returns to his revitalised Citroën and will make it out of service with just seconds to spare, ready to mount his challenge back up the leaderboard. Meanwhile, next door at Volkswagen, one car is conspicuous by its absence. Still no sign of Jari-Matti Latvala's stricken Polo.
Jost, a day of real mixed fortunes out there. Ogier is leading the rally, and here comes one of your drivers retired.
Yes, I think that's what we said right from the beginning. We have a learning year, and we have done a lot of testing. And here was Jari-Matti. We see the difference between testing and rallying, and that's what we said right from the beginning. Yeah, the pieces will break that we haven't seen in testing, and that is part of our learning curve.
VW then hoping Sebastian Ogier's better fortune and form continues as we rejoin John Desborough.
And look at this, Kevin. Repairs done. It's back up that cobbled hill of El Cubileto and on through Las Minas for Chris Atkinson. He's settled down. He avoids the rock that wrecked his power steering this morning. And this is the drive that leads him in 10th place on Rally Mexico. This is the rally leader, Sebastian Ogier. He appears, to have encouraged his rival somehow, dropping just a little bit of time around these rocks of Las Minas. But by the end, he's still the leader. And more importantly, so far, he's dealt with that threat of Mats Osberg. Thierry Neuville finds stage 8 just to his liking, producing the second fastest time over the second run over those cobbles and through all of this dust. But by the time he leaves stage 9, it's this man, Mikko Hirvonen, who has felt the breath on the back of his neck and responds. This is where the Finn starts to fight back, as he surely must. A clever drive brings him closer to Rosberg, who is the winner of stage 9. The leading group then are beginning to spread. Second place Rosberg, yet to find a way to make up 18.9 seconds. Hirvonen in third, breathing easier. Neuville in fourth, in a comfort zone as well. Then it's over a minute to Dani Sordo in fifth.
Well, conditions this weekend are in marked contrast to the previous two events in Monte Carlo and Sweden, where it was all about frozen roads, ice and snow, with winter tyres and studded rubber the order of the day. The loose surface here calls for a very different, heavily treaded gravel tyre.
Here in Mexico, we've got these lateral grooves to clear the pollution from the surface. It gives you the progression when the car is sliding on the gravel. The inner block is the main concentrated area for the braking and the traction. This is the one that really gives you the straight line acceleration.
And those tyres are about to take a whole lot more punishments as we return to Guanajuato's mountain tracks very shortly. Welcome back once again to Mexico, round 3 of the World Rally Championship, where Volkswagen's Sébastien Ogier is enjoying the lead. But before we see how the rest of this opening day unfolds, let's first catch up with the junior WRC 2 category now. And a great start for Abdelaziz Al-Khawari, making his season debut in the Ford Fiesta and setting the pace. The Qatari certainly one to watch. Nicolas Fuchs was another front runner in the early stages. That was until his Mitsubishi Lancia developed steering problems in stage 5. Clearly something wrong here. The steering column wobbling in Fuchs' hands, carrying on nonetheless. Cornering proving very tricky. The Peruvian would continue, but eventually had to stop for some swift improvised running repairs. And despite those problems, somehow it did the trick. Fuchs managing to get back on the road and make his way up to second by stage 8. And just behind him, veteran Armin Kramer, returning to the WRC after a 9-year absence. Yuri Protasov was out of luck though, the Ukrainian second in the championship, overcoming a puncture in the morning, only to retire from the rally with a broken suspension. Okay, back to the main event now, and John Desborough.
Kevin, we're coming to the end of a long day, and Martin Prokop has spent it battling Benito Guerra and Mikhail Koshishko. But he and this Fiesta have survived in 9th place, and they'll be back tomorrow for more fun and games. Nasser Al-Attiyah has been trying to break into the top 5 today, but he's also been thankful that he hasn't been at the centre of any of those dramas.
Right 170, left 3, tighten 4, very narrow big rock. And right 3 over crest, narrow exit.
Spain's Dani Sordo was keen to wring more out of this Citroën DS3 that he's got, but he's built up a good lead on Al-Attiyah, but he's not put Thierry Neuville under any real pressure. And he spent the day in 5th place. And there's been no speed, no colour or excitement for Mikko Hirvonen, just dust to eat as the last driver onto the stages.
Oikein täysylinen 2.
He's going to have to gamble, and he's going to have to gamble soon.
Lyhyt täys. 5. Nyt kun vasen laita, jarru 3 oikein sen.
In 2nd place, Mads Rosberg, the winner of 4 stages today, and he must wonder why he's not beating everybody else.
20 på kort 5, smal 5 höger, nyppet litt tidig. 60, slow 6 höger, nyppet kort 5 minus, i smal vinkel vänster. 42 på 4 kilometer.
But with Léon and the service park getting ever nearer, this man, Sébastien Ogier, takes a knock. He takes the sump shield off his car, drops a snippet of time to his rivals. Hirvonen, Neuville and the stage winner Rosberg are all faster on stage 10. But as they all head to the super special stage, Osberg still trails the slightly bruised rally leader by 29 seconds. And it's Ogier who goes on to win both the evening super specials and adds to his lead. Osberg is over half a minute back in second. Hirvonen has 42 seconds to make up. And down the leaderboard, the gaps start to get even bigger.
Yeah, it was a good day for us. I think we can be really pleased with that. We didn't have the perfect qualification yesterday because we wanted to have a safe choice with a safe strategy with the tires, and then today the world position was not perfect for us, but still we managed to be on the front with quite good gap, so we are very happy with the day.
So Sébastien Ogier steering clear of trouble to enjoy a strong overnight lead, but he'll know that could all change in an instant. Join us again for more of the same from magnificent Mexico tomorrow.